I'm back with another video. Hopefully my audio may be fixed. I haven't really tried to fix it. I've installed one thing, but it didn't really work, so today I'm going to be trying Friday Night Bloxxin again. I've been practicing a lot. And I'll be trying my best to give you all some tips on this game and how to beat it. Hope you all had a good Halloween. You got candy. And I'm not paying attention. You guys saw nothing? I've just gotten on today. It's 5:31 in the afternoon. Despair first before to practice death notes. I would try to recommend practicing some of the bombastic songs and maybe Cuphead for dodging. I'm not sure how much damage it does if you miss a dodge. I think it takes like about half your health. I'm not sure. For notes, try to pick the ones that stick out from the black and yellow. You can pick the default ones if they work for you, but I like to use these notes because I think they look cool. And that is my only reason. And also, you want to try to have it at a speed where you can read it. Because if you ask me how I feel about it, I think it's kind of like reading. You have to read it fast, though. So if... And I play a musical instrument. So I have that. But for those of you who just play and you don't... And you just really want to try to beat the song, it really takes an immense amount of focus. And the fact that I'm talking to you guys while I'm doing this... Because you hear me pause in the middle of the sentence, and I can't. You have to focus on the death notes. You got space, you got shift, and then you got to dodge. Then you got to focus on the notes. And I'm adding another thing. I'm talking to y'all, so... And also my keyboard is kind of clicky. The second half of the song is always the hardest part because this is when they add in all the death notes and it gets faster. I'd say especially around 1.5 minute mark, maybe. Don't be scared to miss if it means you're gonna dodge some notes or anything. And I know it's supposed to be tips on how to beat it, and I'm dying right in front of you guys, but it really does take a lot of practice just to get good at one thing. Because for those of you who don't know, I am an artist, no, well-known artist in my school. And they asked me, did you go to class? How long have you been drawing? How did you get so good? And if you ask me those questions, my answers will be that I have practiced for a very long time, actually. My drawings when I was a kid look nothing like how they do now. Like, back then, I couldn't even draw eyes, and I still can't draw eyes, but I can draw them on a face. I'm able to draw eyes. Just... I'm not the best at it. I've seen some other people in my class who have, like, extremely good art. Like, one person. But I can draw pretty well, and I might post a short or something. But when you're doing this song, get back on track, it's more really about how you see the notes. Because if you keep trying to look for the death notes, then you're obviously going to hit them. And if you're not paying attention, then you might die to the dodge. And you might want to try to get the dodge out of the way as soon as possible. Because that just adds another obstacle you're going to have to get through in the future, especially on the second half. And one up about the second half is that it makes the background brighter so you can see the dodge easier. But you can hit right when they're dodging and it won't really... It will prevent them from attacking. So if you hit them right when they're about to attack and they die, then good for you. It takes 2 hits to destroy 1. And I'm not sure if they really stack up. I'm pretty sure the game doesn't... It has something that prevents that from happening. For sanity. But another thing is, when you're doing the Indie Cross Nightmare songs, I'm pretty sure the reason they're bad is because they make them, like, twice as hard to beat. I'm not sure how the real mod goes, because I don't really play the real mods, but it either is really just as hard as this, and I'm... Because I think what happens is that in the second half... In the second half, the bots start to spawn faster. And I'm internally screaming in the background. So I'll give this one more shot. You guys can try to beat it on your own, and I'll show you some other songs. Because I don't want to center it on one song and one song only for like a whole 15-minute video. But I'd say the Bloxxin developers, they do a really good job with this game. I mean, the maps, the animations. And it's not as laggy. As I play more and more, I start to realize the lag problems I had in Funky Friday compared to this game. Unless it's changing notes, and my computer doesn't like to work sometimes, it doesn't really give me that much lag. Unless it's Doomsday Reel, then... If it's Doomsday Reel on Expert, then my computer really hates that song. So if you guys see me, you can try to beat me with that, but I'm practicing on it. And then some people try to ask, what are your settings? What are your keybinds? I use the DFJK keybinds. And my speed is on setting 2, so... I wouldn't recommend trying to go for my speed. But I really am comfortable with the way my keybinds are. My hands aren't too close together like on a mobile device. And they're not too far apart. And when you're trying to use a note skin, you might just want to look at the color, see if it's something you can recognize. Maybe see how big they are when you actually use them. And hit markers, try not to use something that would get in your way or distract you from your... See, I can do this part. You give me something easier that I'm gonna hit a death note. Or something I am not supposed to hit. Maybe it's the simplicity that's throwing me off. Because I usually... But yes, in this song, they give short breaks. I really want to try to get them out of the way before 2.5 minute mark. This is where it starts to get... This is where you gotta be careful. What I do is have... Ah. Alright, I'll move on for you guys. I'll move on. But what I do is that I have my middle fingers and my pointer fingers on the DF and JK. And I have my pinky on the shift and my thumbs on... My left pinky on shift and thumbs on the spacebar. Some really... Some songs that I would recommend to practice mechanics for Despair. Termination is more of a sound-oriented dodge, but it really does help when you're trying to hit the spacebar right. Especially the fact that they give it to you in the middle of when you're playing. Sometimes I think they do that in like one section, especially if you're on the left side. When it goes, do you have to hit the spacebar? I would also recommend Bombastic and some faster songs for that last part. And you gotta give yourself credit, even if you don't beat the song, if you can make it to the second half. Despair is a 5-minute song. You can't expect to beat it on the first try unless you've beat it in the actual mod. And yes, a pro could have their weaknesses. I'm not very good at this part of the song. This is the one part of the song I try to avoid. I'd say for Despair, you wouldn't want to try to practice the jacks that much because there aren't really that many in the song. And really, if there are, there's just like double stacks, so it's nothing of major concern. You're allowed to miss notes in Despair unless you're one of those tryharders and you put on the miss a note and you die mechanic, but... And if you do use it, you're not a tryharder, but if you're absolutely trying, you know what I mean, guys. I don't... But yes, I would recommend trying some faster paced songs. Maybe not Camellia fast, but some mildly fast songs. If you're used to stuff that's slower, then maybe try something a bit more fast, or put up your speed. And this is... Watch me die on this part. Watch me die in the 2-minute mark. For those of you who are like... For those of you who are completely new and don't know when to dodge for QT, you want to dodge on the third beep. So if it goes beep, beep, and then beep, beep, dodge. Oh gosh, and then it's gonna have me dodge and spam. Yeah. You can see how that interferes with some mechanics, but... So that's how you work on the spacebar. That one's just up there. And maybe, depending on if you're really, really trying to get the hang of it, I'd say go for this one. But if you're trying to get, like, really, really fast with the Death Notes for maybe the second half, I'll give you a view of both. This is... I really prefer the remix because I think it really sounds nice. And it... For those of you who don't know, Drake, up there in the credits, he actually has a channel, and I think I'll link it down below. And what he does is that, if you guys know the Tacti mod, he works with Tacti, I'm pretty sure. And he makes some really good songs. So if you guys can't hear this, I'm sorry. I'll try to find it I'll try to find it and link it in the description, but I'm contemplating how long this video might be. And some of you might ask, how are my hands not cramping at this pace? I am cramping so hard. That is why I'm... If you give me, like, a song over 2 minutes, I'm guaranteed to cramp at one point, maybe. Maybe not, like, a 3.5 minute song, but... If it's one of the longer side... I will definitely... Especially if it's, like, long and fast. I will... Alright. Because I went from 6 to 25 misses. And I said I would show you guys both of them, so... This one is much calmer and it's much shorter. I'd say the only part is that this one doesn't really have that stopping point between the center and this part. So you're just playing throughout the entire thing. And what they do in this song is that they try to put the death notes in the places that they know you're gonna hit. So... sometimes when you hit the note, you gotta time it right. Because if you're 1 second too late, then you're gonna hit the death note behind it. And you asked me how long it took me to master that song, and I still die 15% of the time. It took me like a week just to master the song. And if you guys really want to get pro, I don't know how good you want to get at the game. If you want to get really, really good, then you could try to practice Camellia songs because they're long and usually they have those moments. I really like this one because it gives you an easier start. And it does kind of have ups and downs. This one in Machine Gun Pie Style, those are like some really good songs. And Camellia is an actual writer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but some of you might say it's overcharted, really hard, too long. But I am just comfortable with this mod. Especially if you're trying to get, like, a certain mechanic. Maybe... No, not mechanic, like... doubles, triples, jacks sometimes. Or just, like, really spammy parts. or something where you have to do a hold and you have to play different notes on the hold and you're having trouble holding it, this one would actually be a good practice for that and the doubles. And because even I spam sometimes. I am not guilty. I am not free of charge, actually. Termination, I will spam on that one part. I did spam on that one part. Bands, I have spammed on one part. I'm not spamming right now because I can actually hit them some. I'm spamming now. Because once you get used to the game, you'll know when to spam. You'll know when to spam and when to not spam. It's all in a matter whether it's worth the spam or not. Because sometimes if you spam, then you're gonna lose a chunk of your accuracy in doing so. And there might have some really easy notes in there that you know you can hit. And if you miss those notes, then it's gonna take a really big chunk out of your accuracy. My practice habits is that I practice really hard songs, and I practice with an unfair bot, so. And that's another important thing. If you want to get better at the game, then work up a solo habit for if you need a solo sometimes to warm up. Try to find a good way. Try to find a good technique you use to solo, like what kind of songs you play and what difficulty bot do you use. And I will probably start doing shoutouts to whoever needs. Or you can just hook me up in the comments with your username. Tell me how good you are, where you want to go, and I'll, depending on my schedule, because it all depends. If you want to devote your time to becoming good, then you can. It all depends whether you put effort into it, and usually I would hit, I'm tired from despair. Despair kind of wore my hands out somehow. And bombastic and all that. Yeah, but Camellia really does have those calming points where you can just hit them. And this being a rhythm game and all, you might want to listen to the music and try to get a rhythm or the tempo or something. My left wrist is starting to ache a bit, so I might, after doing a side off sign, then I might have to let you guys go, because my. And I just want to put this out there, because I know it's still kind of early in school, maybe, for some of you, but what is your favorite teacher? For what subject? For what subject you have him or her? For me personally, my favorite last year was probably my science teacher, but she moved, so I'm sad now, and I'm spamming. And I say currently, it's ought to be either my pre-algebra or my civics teacher. Because they're both really cool. And they really help me understand the subject. Because being in an advanced class, it's not easy. But My math teacher, I know she probably isn't watching this, but my tech teacher was actually pretty nice too. Kinda. Everyone hated her when she was new, but when she left, everyone missed her and everything. So, for the last 44 seconds, I want to say I hope you guys really did enjoy this video and maybe some tips that would help you out. I'm not very good at giving tips. I'm more of like, be there in person, help you there. But I'm not there in person. I don't know where you guys live. Definitely not gonna try to find out. Because that would probably get me. But I hope you guys had a good day, because it's 5:56 for me. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Have a good week. Have a good rest of your year. And I'll see you in the next one.